Big exciting news, as Mark Meadows says, we're focusing on the finish line. Yes, he actually said the exact words of this channel, focusing on getting over the finish line. Do you think he's watching this channel? He also wore a purple tie the other day, so no. But Nancy Pelosi also wore a purple mask the other day, and that's just not a good indication either. This is 28. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Big exciting news with 15 days till the election. 15 days. We're upwards of 2 weeks away from the election. Could the October surprise be coming? And could that October surprise be multiple stimulus checks, as Mark Meadows says is going to get done? He said it before and it didn't, so is this time going to be the magic number? Go to the front of the channel, subscribe, because we're approaching 300,000 subscribers, and boy, I'm really excited. I hope you are, and also like this video. Into this video, I'll be going over a lot of great details. This video, as you can sort of tell by the light, is recorded a little bit later than a usual 28 recording, which is recorded early in the morning. There's breaking details, even since morning's LALATE recording earlier today, which has already been a bombshell. In this video, I'll be going over Mark Meadows' comments since morning's LALATE to Fox News, and it talks about the finish line. Then I'll be talking about why Wall Street, which traded up earlier before opening on hopes of a stimulus package deal, is now down on dissent about a stimulus deal. Third, I'll be going over the incredible remarks from Goldman Sachs, the brokerage firm that spoke out today about what they think that a stimulus package under Biden would look like, and how big would it be, and would it be more than Trump is offering right now. Additionally, I will be going over the poll numbers and why the polls numbers suggest it's time for an October surprise. Let's get to the breaking news, and the breaking news is that Goldman Sachs report. The Goldman Sachs report says that a big sweep, a blue wave sweep in which the Democrats take the House, the Senate, and the White House could result in massive stimulus next year. The question is it too late, and is this still too little? And how can Trump surprise us with an October surprise? Goldman Sachs is telling its members today that a congressional Democratic majority would likely result in substantially more stimulus. We expect that stimulus spending would increase the most under a Democratic sweep of the House, Senate, and White House, said Jan Zarius in a new statement today from Goldman Sachs. This would likely include a big stimulus package in Q1, followed by legislative action on climate thereafter. In this scenario, we would expect legislative expanding health and other benefits financed by tax increases to pass later next year. Of course, the big question is, where are my stimulus checks? Again, we're talking about vague things. We've had enough vague things for a couple of months. Where are the multiple stimulus checks? The new polls across the country give Biden an 8.9% advantage over Trump, 51.3 to 42.4, with a 63% chance that the Democrats take both the House and Senate. That's not particularly that clear of a chance at the moment. So, with that, we understand the importance of MSCs. MSCs are really heating up today. I started them on Friday. I started the focus of this channel on MSC's multiple stimulus checks, and the heat is going on hotter than a kettle in the middle of the summer. People are now understanding that you're entitled to multiple stimulus checks. You are owed multiple stimulus checks. We're now in October. You should have gotten multiple stimulus checks, so where the hell are they? Well, Nancy Pelosi has put a 2-day moratorium or deadline to get it done, and our response is, get what done? A $500 stimulus check for one period of time over 6 months? That's not getting anything done. You are owed a stimulus check in the month of April. You are owed one in the month of May. They put it in a bill. They took it out of the bill. They reduced you to one stimulus check in the first stimulus package, but they said they would get to it later. Guess what? Earth to Mars, they didn't get to it. Then what happened thereafter was, you sort of thought, okay, they're going to take care of this the next time around. Well, then came the really great news. Harris, the VP nominee, and Sanders, Bernie Sanders, said, this is not enough. America needs relief, so we are writing a bill that resolves the situation. $2,000 a month, 6 months minimum, until the pandemic improves or until unemployment goes away. Actually, unemployment improves or the pandemic goes away. And that was widely accepted as the presiding idea that would sustain people's livelihood. But Temple of Doom didn't want it. Temple of Doom didn't want it. Mitch McConnell didn't want it. So ultimately, we heard of how we needed it, but people didn't want it. And when the second stimulus package started going under negotiations between Temple of Doom and Steve Mnuchin by July, we thought, okay, well, if we get a stimulus check in July 1, that maybe we can survive the issue of no stimulus checks for April, May, and June. 3 months, you're cutting us out. You're screwing us over for 3 months. You know why? Because Steve Mnuchin has that $400 a week FPUC, so we'll get retroactive about 5 weeks of FPUC. We'll get a couple $1,000s by July. We got nothing. We got nothing. And so as we sit here in October, Nancy Pelosi is not only not giving you a stimulus check for all these months, she's giving you a watered-down stimulus check. Adult dependents, my veterans who worked and served this country, my senior citizens who worked their entire life and just happen to be a dependent on someone else's tax return. What does she want to do? $500 stimulus check for 6 months. No, that's not going to work on it. Not going to work. No. Children going hungry. One stimulus check for 6 months, $500. No, that's not going to work either. The problem solvers told him it's not going to work, but the problem solvers' idea was not robust enough. Their idea was to give you a stimulus check now and then give you one next year in March. No, multiple stimulus checks now. We're 6 months since that Sanders-Harris bill. 6 months, pandemic has not gone away and unemployment is not improved. That's $12,000. 6 month minimum. And so as you sit here today, this is the October surprise. It should be the October surprise because the president understands he's behind on the polls. The president understands that giving people stimulus would win. The president understands that the time to get the stimulus in their hands before they vote is past. But at least he can understand the impact that we have with Goldman Sachs, Mark Meadows, the Wall Street. Everyone's talking about stimulus every 2 minutes. And the win is executive orders right now for multiple stimulus checks. He has the money, $800 billion. It only takes $300 billion to send out a $2,000 stimulus check. You can do the math. That's at least 2 stimulus checks and some extra money for FPUC. So what did Mark Meadows say since morning's LALATE? Oh boy, this is getting good. Mark Meadows, chief of staff to Donald Trump, came out on Fox News and said if Nancy Pelosi was reasonable, she'd find the President of the United States to be reasonable, and we would be getting something across the finish line. Do you think the White House is watching this channel? The line that I have used categorically in almost every single recording for upwards of 3 months, getting you to the finish line. I ended morning's LALATE with you're almost over the finish line or the handle is over here somewhere there. The line that I've categorically used, I mean, all he has to do is say purple power and it's sort of obvious he's watching this channel. But what's not obvious is why stimulus checks have not been sent out by executive order. Okay, Mark, get it into the president's ear. Say into the president's ear, do the executive orders right now. McConnell said what's important to indicate to the American people before the election, not after the election, is that we're not in favor of stalemate, that we're not in favor of doing nothing. Well, the question is, what's the alternative to nothing? Her way or the highway? It's really not clear what's going to happen in the next 24 hours. White House Chief of Staff told Fox News that he's optimistic that there will be a stimulus check delivery and agreement in the next 48 hours. He did not use multiple stimulus checks, and he did not use Steve Mnuchin's numbers, which is like, do you not know what the guy's doing down the hall from you? If you don't recall, Steve Mnuchin is now at $1,000 for children and $1,200 for adults. Well, guess what Mark Meadows said on Fox News? We're optimistic that the president will be sending out right now $1,200 for adults and $500 for children. Mark, I think it's best that you get up to date before you say something. Now, perhaps the stock market saw that misstatement and wasn't happy as well. Stock market opened up initially higher today and now is down on belief that perhaps something might be not happening. Pelosi, of course, has set this 48-hour deadline. The 48 hours only relates to if we want to get it done before the election, which we do. Who's the we? And what is the what? People have heard false narratives. People have heard promises. Nancy Pelosi before that weekend, after the airlines deadline passed, said, you know what, airlines, it's going to be imminent, her exact word. The deal's imminent. It's going to happen just within a few days. She said, don't fire this people because the deal's imminent. Well, that was 14 days ago? No, 18 days ago? What's imminent? 18 days ago is not imminent. So what has gone on? What has gone on is a lot of hogwash. Can I say it clearly? If you sit here today, you're wondering, hey, LA, what is Steve and Nancy really doing? Are they doing anything? Oh, yeah. What they're doing currently is the following. Let me paraphrase the situation for you. She says, I want more money for testing. Steve says, okay, here's the exact amount you want for testing. Okay, what's the wording for the bill on testing? Here's your wording for the testing. Oh, you changed the and to an or. Let me send it to a subcommittee, and I'll hear back from the subcommittee in 2 days, and I'll tell you what I can do with that and versus or. And then he goes on news. He says, I didn't change the and to or. Yes, you did. You didn't. Yes, you did. Okay, I'm waiting for the subcommittee to get back to me about the and or the or. That's literally what's going on. It's really ridiculous. She literally admits, and her press secretary, liar-in-chief, Drew Hamill, says, we're working on the wording. Can we stop working on the wording and just agree upon the numbers? Americans don't have belief that Nancy Pelosi and Steve Mnuchin have agreement on the numbers. He's at $400 a week for FPUC. She's at $600 a week for FPUC. He's at $300 billion for staying local. She's at $400 billion for staying local. So is this just a real con game of the American people, Steve and Nancy? You clearly were not agreeing on the numbers just 4 days ago. And so why are you focusing on the language when you don't have agreement on the numbers? And why do you say you're optimistic on us reaching an agreement when you're 1.85 versus 2.2, and you're exactly where you were in the month of July, and he's gone from 1.3 and he's now at 1.85. You're optimistic about what? Optimistic about what? Optimistic that he's going to give you exactly 2.2, or optimistic that you're going to come down to 2.0 and make it a deal? As I've been reporting on this channel for several months, the president will do a deal at $2 trillion. You will have a bill at $2 trillion. It was interesting. There was one news article I read minutes ago that said the CARES Act 1 package was 1.86, not 2.0. I had always thought it was 2.0. So at this point, we might be above the CARES Act in valuation of how big the package is with that single stimulus check, with that FPUC only retroactive to mid-September, with no hazard pay. Mr. President, spend a few extra dollars, put the hazard pay in there, put the multiple stimulus checks in there, put the FPUC retroactive in there to late July, call it a day. Now, stock market is just giddy as hell. They just don't understand what the situation is. And I've always said that generally the stock market knows what's going on before we do. Well, they started on hopes it was going to pass. Now they're not certain, so it's down. It's all over the place. What we're not all over the place is our focus. Purple power, do your thing. There's a reason why Mark Meadows is saying the finish line, because we're saying it. There's a reason why Steve Mnuchin said we're going to do the problem solvers bill. There's a reason why Leslie Graham on Sunday said I would co-sign the problem solvers bill. There's a reason why Mitch McConnell has said I'll do the problem solvers bill at one point. And there's a reason why people want this done. It's because they're watching this channel. It's because of you. It's because of you with a purple power. Understand that some of these people, like Mark Meadows and Steve Mnuchin, they don't have 20 million account follower Twitter accounts. They have 100,000 or 200,000, 300,000, 400,000. When they see 7,000 tweets a day, every single day for 3 weeks, do you think they got the message? They're getting the message. So keep on pushing Purple Power. Hashtag Purple Power, hashtag LALATE, hashtag MSC, and make it very clear. 1, October surprise. Granted, I'm not here to push for one party to win or another party to win. I'm here to push your stimulus, to get you your stimulus. October surprise. You'd win, Mr. President, if you sent out the executive orders right now. Do it right now. Do it by the end of today. In fact, you know what? Nancy Pelosi set a deadline for tomorrow, so guess what? Do it tomorrow at 5 p.m. She has a deadline. This is a perfect media opportunity for you. She set the narrative. It's dead before the elections close of Tuesday afternoon. Okay. So come Tuesday afternoon, write the executive order, or write it today and have it ready to send out on Tuesday afternoon. Don't you love that? This is how we think. People are like, LA, you should be in charge of the president's economic policy. Yeah. And I know how to use a calculator. Get it done, Mr. President. I mean, what are we doing here? Now, there's that. Seats with stimulus is the other one. And finally, MSC. You need to make very clear that we are our voice. There is no lobbyist for the people in this exchange. There is no lobbyist for the people with the exception of you, me, and this channel. We're the lobbyists for the people because no one is saying what we're entitled to. We're sitting here and the airlines out of nowhere have jumped in and got $20 billion put into the proposal. We have the hospitality people who out of nowhere have jumped in and got $20 billion put into the proposal. Guess what? Wait another week. There'll be another group of people come say, hey, you know what? I'm really hurting. Put another $20 billion in for me. How about us? Another $300 billion for us, please, for a second stimulus check. How about another $300 billion for us for a third stimulus check? How about another $200 billion for more retroactive FPUC to late August? You have the money. You're spending the money. Instead of spending on salary raises, spend it on us. We're the ones voting for you, not the Judiciary Department, not the Department of Trademarks and Copyrights. We're the ones that determine your election in 15 days from now. Let me go over some incredible comments from yesterday. Kay, come on, Trumpy, get the lead and get our money out. I'm 82. I'd like it before I'm 92. I love that, Kay. Thank you so much. Ricky Riddle, multiple checks. Come on. Kim, Mr. President, stop waiting. Brad, are they even going to see our pleas? They are. Tiffany Jones, get it happening. Rick, is this something going on? Mary Luke, I know he has the money one could ever want. We the people don't have it. Kay Ranovich, how could $1,200 pay our bills? Diana, quoting Psalm 109, :A. Thank you. And Noah, it's time for the president to take action and make this $2,000 happen. Brenda, good afternoon. Let's see this. Bigger checks, no, not smaller checks, multiple checks. I love you, Purple Power. Lee Marie, we're in such need of this money. Terry, if he was smart, he would have done this so we can get the money. He's not smart. He has Larry Kudlow in his ear. But now the thing is against the fan. So now he needs to get it out so at least he can announce it before you vote. In the polls, not vote by mail. William Dinger, this would be like buying your vote. Of course it is, but that's all they're doing. Hello, these are politicians. Chris Dennis, the government has never had action about this over the past April. They wanted to remember the Alamo, but they forgot about April 2020. He's referring to how Congress has forgotten we have not gotten our multiple stimulus checks. And Carlita, we definitely need MSCs. Welter's coming, and we need to get stock up on our groceries. And I forget to mention on a regular basis is that, we're talking about the second stimulus check package, and I've always said that the third stimulus package is supposed to be done in November or about now. These people are so lazy that you just have to assume they're not going to get to a third stimulus package in the next few weeks. So this is the big opportunity. Multiple stimulus checks to get it going. Go to the front of the channel, subscribe. Subscribe because we're pushing and we're pushing and we're almost, as Mark Meadows and quoting me would say, at the finish line. And like this video. Coming up this afternoon at 3:30 Pacific Standard Time is 2 hours of programming you cannot miss. Afternoons at LALATE, starting with the check, then continuation of the check with hazard pay, then McConnell versus Trump. And finally, Pelosi versus Mnuchin. As always, stay informed, stay smiling, and save that life for more.